Define bioinformatics. ANS. Bioinformatics refers to the use of computational and statistical techniques for the analysis of biological data. Define biological method. ANS. The scientific method in which biological problems are solved is termed as biological method. Define biological problems. ANS. The question which is related to living things is called biological problem that is either asked by someone or comes in biologist's mind by himself. What is the difference between control group and experimental group? NS. Control group. Control group is the group of people who are unaffected. For example, the group of healthy persons will be called a control group. Experimental group. Experimental group is the group of those persons who are affected with some disease and we do not know the real cause, e.g. group of malarial patients. Describe deduction. ANS. The logical conclusion drawn from hypothesis is called deduction, e.g. the deduction made about malaria from hypothesis was, if plasmodium is the cause of malaria then all persons ill with malaria should have plasmodium in their blood. Define experiments. ANS. Experiments are designed to test the deduction. For this purpose, experimental and control groups are formed. Two groups are always made in experimentation. Control group. Experimental group. Define hypothesis. ANS. The tentative explanation of the observation is called a hypothesis, e.g. hypothesis made about malaria was plasmodium is the cause of malaria. Differentiate between law and theory. ANS. Law. If a theory survives doubtful approach and continues to be supported by experimental evidence, it becomes a law. Theory. The hypothesis that stands the test of time is called theory. A theory is supported by a great deal of evidence. Define observations. Qualitative and quantitative observations. ANS. Observations are made with 5 senses of vision, hearing, smell, taste and touch. Types of observations. Observations may be both qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative observations are considered more accurate than qualitative ones because these are invariable and measurable and can be recorded in terms of numbers. E.g., the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius and the boiling point is 1000 degrees Celsius. Qualitative observations are less accurate, variable, and cannot be measured, e.g. beauty, intelligence. The freezing point of water is colder than the boiling point. What is the association of Anopheles mosquito with humans? ANS. It is a female mosquito which transfers plasmodium from one person to another, and it plays an important role in spreading the malaria in humans. Why is cinchona bark important in biologists' mind for treating malaria? ANS. Cinchona is a plant and the biologists get quinine from the bark of cinchona. What is plasmodium? ANS. Plasmodium is a microscopic parasitic protozoan which causes malaria. It completes its sexual phase of life cycle in mosquitoes and asexual phase in the body of human. Explain why biologists report the result of their findings at national and international level. ANS. Biologists publish their findings in scientific journals and books, in talks at national and international meetings and in seminars at colleges and universities. Publishing of result is an essential part of scientific method. It allows other people to verify the results or apply the knowledge to solve other problems. What is incubation period? ANS. The period in between the entry of plasmodium parasite in human body and appearance of symptoms of malaria is called incubation period. What are the characteristics of a good hypothesis? ANS. Characteristics of a good hypothesis. It should be a general statement. It should be a tentative idea. It should agree with available observations. IT should be kept as simple as possible. It should be testable and potentially falsifiable. Why do welts appear after biting mosquito? ANS. The welts that appear after mosquito bites is not a reaction to wound but an allergic reaction to the saliva. In most cases, the itching sensation and swelling subside within several hours. Write major observations about malaria. ANS. 1. Malaria and marshy areas have some relation. 2. Quinine is an effective drug for treating malaria. 3. Drinking water of marshes does not cause malaria. 4. Plasmodium is seen in the blood of malarial patients. What are the observations of A.F. a king? ANS. In 1883, a physician A.F. a king listed 20 observations. Some important observations of King are: 1. People who slept outdoors were more likely to get malaria than those who slept indoors. 2. People who slept under fine nets were less likely to get malaria than those who did not use such nets. 3. People who slept near a smoky fire usually did not get malaria. What is the role of control group in an experiment? ANS. A control group in an experiment is a group where factor being tested is not applied so that it may serve as standard for comparison against another group, experimental group. Describe meaning of words mal and aria. ANS. These are Italian words. Meaning word mala is bad and aria is air. How did Darwin form his theory evolution? ANS. Darwin not only observed and took notes during voyage, but he also read the works of other naturalists to form his theory of evolution. Justify. Man has always been a biologist. ANS. A man has always been a biologist, in order to live. Early in history, he was hunter of animals and gatherer of fruits, seeds, roots etc. The more he knew about animals and other habitat, the more successful hunter he was. More he knew about plants, better he distinguished between edible and non-edible plants. How does a female mosquito prevent the blood from clotting in her food canal? ANS. When a female mosquito pierces skin with her mouthparts, she injects a small amount of saliva into wound before drawing blood. The saliva prevents blood clotting in her food canal. Give 2 examples of scientific law. ANS. Hardy-Weinberg law and Mendel's law of inheritance are examples of scientific laws. How are quantitative observations better in biology? ANS. Quantitative observations are considered more accurate than qualitative ones because these are invariable and measurable and can be recorded in terms of numbers. Which disease killed the people more than any other disease in ancient times? ANS. Malaria has killed more people than any other disease. How a hypothesis is formed? ANS. Biologist organizes his or her and others' observations into data form and constructs a statement that may prove to be the answer of the biological problem under study. This tentative explanation of observations is called a hypothesis.